This session was recorded live on Facebook.
And we have several other questions that came through that are also sort of follow on to some of the earlier questions. But they're going into a little bit different flavor or a little bit different depth. So in the last session, we talked about, whether or not we could trust James Edward Padgett as a medium. And if you're interested in that, I have a video on that question, the Divine Truth Sharing YouTube channel. But the kind of follow-up question on that is, but how do we know the Padgett messages themselves are accurate? And again, that's been partially answered, but I have a few more aspects to cover. In addition to the fact that it came through automatic writing, and what that means is it means that Padgett wasn't doing the writing. It wasn't even coming fully through him. It was filtering through his brain, and we know that it needed to use his language developed by his brain. So there was some aspect of Padgett in there. But the spirits who were writing through Padgett, and the highest one being Jesus, the master of the celestial kingdom, they actually took control over his brain and his hand, and they did the writing. Padgett did not do the writing. He volunteered to surrender control of his brain and his writing hand so that the spirits could write through him. That's different from most mediums. The other thing that happened is once Jesus discovered that Padgett was proficient at taking near perfect dictation this way, through automatic writing, then Jesus instituted a targeted campaign, which he called his second coming. It was organized, orchestrated, very deliberate, and focused. And Jesus brought his original apostles and other disciples, many other spirits, saints, popes, famous people to come through James Padgett and give testimony to the truth of God's divine love and its availability to us for the asking. That is the truth that Jesus came to teach when he was mortal, that was lost within approximately 150 years of his death. Many of his moral teachings were preserved in the New Testament, but the kernel truth that he came to share about the new birth, becoming at one with God, becoming transformed, becoming fit to dwell in the kingdom of God by becoming Christed as Jesus became Christed, all of that was virtually lost. There is just enough of a thread of it in the New Testament. And also, as people are genuinely seeking, their souls are reaching out and longing, and they're getting help from angels and from God's divine love coming into their soul, even if they don't know about it. They're being guided, and so it's always available. There's enough in the New Testament to get there, but it's not clear. It got convoluted. So Jesus wanted to clarify and correct these errors in the Bible and reinstitute, by what he calls his second coming, the truth of divine love. In addition to this targeted campaign, he had a band of spirits with whom James Edward Padgett was in very powerful rapport to guard who was coming through and to protect Padgett from lower spirits who would seek to falsify and lie through Padgett. So he had a protective band that worked with him the entire 9 years he was receiving these messages. That band consisted of his soulmate, Helen Padgett, who had been his wife on Earth, his grandmother, Anne Rollins, his former business partner, Albert G. Riddle, his father, Jesus, of course, John the Beloved, and others. But it was a very powerful band that surrounded Padgett whenever he was receiving messages to validate the spirits who were coming through. So Padgett was in rapport with his own loved ones, his own family members, and he could recognize their spirit signature when they came through. And they vouched for the spirits who were coming through and said, yes, it's really Jesus. Yes, it's really John the Beloved. Yes, it's really Matthew. Yes, it's really James. Yes, it's really Paul and Peter, and on and on. This is very unique. You're not going to find this in your average medium, even a very good medium. And what happened was, all these different spirits from various levels came through James Padgett, affirming the same truth. The same truth. They said it in different ways because there were different spirits with different experiences coming from different perspectives. But they were coming through with the very same message. Yes, God is real. Yes, you survive death, the death of the mortal body. Yes, you can receive God's divine love. Yes, that's different from almost all the souls, because very few people actually find the divine love path or choose the divine love path. Most people stay on the default path of the natural love. Even some souls who've received some divine love never fully develop in it to the degree required to actually progress up through all 6 natural love spheres into the 7th sphere, which is the transitional sphere between the natural love and the divine love path. And only souls destined for the celestial kingdom ever get to 7th heaven. And then up into the celestial realm. Few souls ever find that path. But every soul is welcome, and that's why I and the others in this divine love community are working so hard to spread the truth of Jesus' second coming, the truth that Jesus came to teach. The last thing that I want to say about this particular question, about the accuracy of the Padgett messages, you will notice, if and when you choose to read them, it's a very simple, clear, concise, easy to understand, easy to incorporate into your life message. Free, available for everyone and anyone immediately for the asking.